Hey Taurus, it's your December Taroscope! Oh, I found my light. On December 14th, there is a full moon in Gemini, and it lands in your second house of earned income, self-worth, the way you feel about yourself. And as we know, full moons are about releasing. So we want to release wow, we want to release some of the double standards that things we say versus the things that we do. It's a really good time to set an intention to be like, you know, I say these things, but I never actually do them. So it's a good time to release these things that you're sort of been brewing in your head that just they don't work for you anymore. These double standards that you tell yourself and that you put out there. The new moon on December 29th actually falls into your 9th house of travel and higher education and religious pursuits, spirituality, which is awesome. So on the 29th of December, we can start to look at things more like, what do I want to bring into my life that sort of expands my viewpoint, that sort of expands and brings things to me in a bigger, broader spectrum, instead of just this thinking real small. We want to start thinking very big, and that is in Capricorn. So I wouldn't be surprised if you were thinking more about traveling for work. Where can I go to become more of an authority? Because the double standard that we were talking about on the full moon on December 14th, you know, we have to release some of that stuff, so then by the 29th we can say, oh, I actually can plant some seeds. Ask yourself this: what am I an authority on? What you may find out that when you figure out what you're an authority on, you're going to want to start teaching it. Oh, I know this, I want to start teaching it. And that doesn't mean you have to go back to school and do all that stuff. It could be this right now. I had a moment of this, and this is what I'm doing. This is a prime example of something that you could figure out on this new moon on December 29th. It doesn't mean you have to set up a YouTube channel, but it does mean that you can start to stand in your authority, and that's an important thing. Yes. So Mercury's going retrograde this month, woohoo! But for you, this month, with Mercury in retrograde, from December 19th through January 8th, what that really means is Mercury is internalizing, and it's good not to make any big decisions around this time. Just know, or if you do, you know you'll have to revise them, which leads me to believe that this revelation that's coming about authority on the 29th, which, P.S., this is also in Capricorn, this revelation is going to have to do with something that's already existing in your life. You might be revising something that you wrote. You might be re-examining your skills, honestly, reigniting relationships, anything with a re in it. But if you start something brand spanking new, but that's what I'm saying about this remix. How funny, like you're gonna remix. This is the remix. Remix! On to the cards. Let's see what we got this month. I'm using the Rider-Waite deck, just the classic Rider-Waite. I thought that would be a fun one to do today. Whoa, because sometimes it's good to go back to basics, right? Taurans are like, yeah, duh. I'd rather just stick with what I know for the most part. Pentacles, I'm not surprised your pentacles are falling out. That sounds dirty. No, I want that one. It flipped over and it's a good. Keep that guy. And how about one more? I like 4. 4 seems like just a good number. And then we're gonna tail the tail. Whoa, there she is. 2 more, 3 more. Taurans, you're busy. So we're starting off with the Page of Pentacles. Again, we have this like idea, but it's not an idea. It's almost like a product or something that we have this thing where, well, something is very precious. There's something that's super precious to us. It's a tangible thing, and I think it goes along with those moons, not surprisingly. We want to sort of we want to manage this thing. See how in this one, he's holding it up, the page. It's like a message. You might receive a message about like, oh, this is the thing I'm supposed to do, and I'm supposed to work on and teach. Look, this is the thing I'm supposed to do. I found it. You're going to find something this month that you're like, I think I really want to pursue that. Here's you becoming an authority in it, which is something that you have to do. Oh my God, could it get any better? It's like, this is the happy ending card. And this is something, so that also tells me you find the thing, you want to become an authority in it. Trust me, this is, and then it's going to actually start to emotionally fulfill you, which is going to be the strange thing, because you're going to be like, oh, this was just a thing that I can do. Because a lot of the times the gifts that we have, we just look at them as things we can do. And because we can do them, anybody can do them. Not so. Not so. It's important that in this quest you might start to be like, I don't know about that. You have to stay hopeful. Because I think this new thing that's kind of popping up this month, it actually is in line with your current goals. I don't think it's like this brand new thing. It's just like a remix on your goals almost. It's important to remain hopeful, because it might be like, there's no way these two things can go together. But you know, there's a lot of things that never seem like they would go together, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy cow, I can't imagine life without the two of these things together. Okay? And it may feel a little bit like a balancing act. It might. But that's okay. I don't feel like it's breaking right now. So I think you're going to have the opportunity to take a moment and figure out how to blend the two, and if not, which one you want more. Because there is this, it's a big work month for you. It is a big work month about figuring out, what a lovely thing. You're really going to figure out what makes you special. I know that sounds cheeseball, Mahoney, but it's a good thing. There's gonna be a moment where you're like, oh, that's what makes me me. It's gonna feel like a children's book, like the last pages of a picture book, when you're like, oh, the power was with you all along. It's one of those months for you. And then if anyone doubts it, you're gonna have to defend it. That's the thing. I wouldn't even go around telling everybody about all this stuff just yet, like these feelings that you're having, and this like, oh, I think I'm gonna shift, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna remix my life a little bit, because people are gonna be like, how are you gonna do that? How do you expect? And you're gonna have to fight them off a little bit, not in a bad way, but just like, ooh, 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 and then it might make you doubt yourself. And I don't want you to doubt yourself, because, I mean, you're like coming into your own like party zone, party mode, friends. That's what's happening. That's what's going on here. This is also a very much an emotional fulfillment card, the Nine of Cups. This is like, oh, I am so happy and so content, and I have so much that I'm going to have a party and share it, right? Which I think also kind of like gives a good handshake to that new moon on December 29th, where you were like, I am an authority. This month is all about coming into your own. This really is about coming into your own personal authority. I mean, honest to God, the Page of Pentacles, just these two together, the Page of Pentacles, messages of Earth, all right? The King of Pentacles, managing Earth, like authority of Earth. It's a little story, see? He's got that little thing. He's like, hey, look, what's this? And you know, he's probably been carrying it around in his knapsack or in his little tights. He's been like bulging in his tights. Poor guy. But then when he realized it, it was like, oh my God, I feel like I just told you guys that you should be doing porn. Okay, but then look, he's like, oh, it's been with him all along. And not only that, he's like, oh, I can make money off of this. Which sounds like I'm advocating porn. I'm certainly not against it. But it's gonna make you so happy. It's gonna make you feel emotionally fulfilled. This is the happy family card. And that's the thing, it could even bring you some new partnerships, new groups and stuff. I wouldn't count on it happening this month, but I feel like there might be flashes of it. It's important to keep those things in your mind, and it also reminds me to tell you to put those emotional goals in mind. If things aren't in line with your emotional goals right now, there's a good chance you probably shouldn't be doing it. And all those things, that's what we need to release on December 14th, on that full moon. It's time to release those things that make us the double think, where you're like, this is great because I'm telling myself it's great. I'm actually miserable. That kind of stuff has to like melt out of our lives. And it's very important for us to remember we are in charge. We're in charge of these things. We don't have to listen to everybody else. This month for you is really about that. I don't have to listen to everyone else. I can be my own authority, and I will be my own authority. Oracle cards, oracle cards. I just want one, just to solidify. What do we got? Oh, Innocence. Ah, interesting. Look at that one. Hi there. It's interesting, Innocence, right? I think it's an interesting card to draw in all this, because innocence, what does that mean? We look at innocence as like naivety. Is that how you say it? Naivety. Naivety. The naivety scene. No, I'm just kidding. But being naive. We look at innocence as being naive. And that's not necessarily what this is. Innocence is more like the fool. I feel like you're going on this journey and you have to keep an incredibly open mind. Almost think like a child. Think of like, this is fun. This is not work. This is an adventure. Like, and that's that 9th house too, that new moon. New moon, this is an adventure. This is an adventure. 9th house, if that new moon, I said, it falls in your 9th house, and there's no more adventurous placement than the 9th house. That is travel, foreign travel at that. So that might also mean like you can find a new audience to reach, and that could be in business. I mean, it could be in if you're in entertainment, you might find different ways to reach more people. But the whole thing is we need to think more innocent, more like a child instead of like, which is funny and totally contradictory, right? Because it's like you're becoming an authority, but I think, my friends, you're going to become an authority through that innocent breath, that childlike spark that maybe has been missing for a while because your brain's been at war. Your brain's been at war, yeah? So that's the kind of stuff we want to let go of. We want to start thinking more like a child, and that really, I mean, think about it. When you were little, when all of us were little, that was the time when we were like, this is fun. I can be anything I want. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a surgeon. I mean, surgeon? Yeah, I don't know too many kids that say that, but who cares? I'm going to be a ballerina. I'm going to be this, a movie star. All these things, right? And there was no limitation. It wasn't like we were like, oh, but that's probably not very practical because, you know, I'm going to have to know all kinds of things. I'm probably going to have to, if I'm going to be a movie star, I have to look decent. I'll probably have to get a lot of plastic surgery. We don't think those things as kids. We never had those restrictions as kids. We were just like, this is it. Duh. And you're encouraged to think that way because that's what's going to lead you to the door of your own authority. Hello, it's me, Innocence. Innocence. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe because then you will know precisely when I post the new videos, and then you can get your forecast for the month and all that stuff. But also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at mysticassistant. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, have a great December and happy holidays. My God in heaven. This day has been already just like that.